Hi, this is John. Welcome to another RogueMechanic video. In this video, I'm going to be explaining the differences between the various Mavic spokes. Mavic uses everything from your typical stainless steel spokes, both round and bladed. They use their aluminum Z-Roll spokes, Tracomp spokes, which is a carbon spoke, and their R2r Spoke. Let me start at the beginning. Mavic typically used round spokes in their wheels prior to 2000, 99, 2000, and most of these were straight pull, and they were used on both road and mountain wheels. They were nothing really spectacular about them to really point out. The vast majority of them were straight pull, and that also helped with the longevity and the durability of them. So besides your typical round stainless steel spokes and bladed stainless steel spokes with your traditional threaded ends, Mavic also uses a stainless steel spoke, again with the threaded captured nipple on there, and so they use these, again bladed straight pull. They use these on typically their Cerium Elite wheels. So again, stainless steel bladed spoke with the captured nipple, threaded nipple. They also have some wheels that use a round stainless steel spoke, again with the captured nipple. These are some of the for mountain bike wheels. Again, here's a stainless steel spoke in black, bladed with the captured nipple, and again these are for Cerium Elites. At around 1999 to 2000, they introduced the Z-Roll Spoke, and this is an aluminum alloy. It's my understanding it's an alloy of aluminum and zinc, and they introduced this spoke in their Cerium SL wheels and in their Cross Max wheels. As you can see, this one's bladed, but they also come round. But another distinguishing feature is that they have a threaded spoke nipple is actually integrated or captured onto the spoke, so you cannot remove it. And as you can see, it is threaded, so that makes it quite a bit different than your typical spoke that is threaded onto the nipple. I am not an engineer or a metallurgist, so I cannot get into the details. I can just tell you what I know and from my experience with these spokes. These spokes do not experience the same fatigue failure that you typically see with your stainless steel spokes. I can't tell you why, but that's just the case. I actually have clients that are on first generation Cerium SL, so that's from 1999-2000, that haven't broken a spoke yet, and they ride at least 3,000-4,000 miles a year, so you do the math. But for some reason, these for some reason these do not fail because of fatigue like stainless steel spokes. Again, bladed, round, and the bladed spokes are different for the road and their mountain versions. The mountain bladed is more of a narrow blade compared to the road typically. And here's an example of the more narrow bladed Z-Curl spoke, which is typically for mountain, and some of the newer road spokes. What's unique about these Z-Curl spokes, besides the durability and longevity, again, are these spoke nipples. And I want to focus on this for a minute or two. Mavic has used two different versions of these. They call them M7s. M as in Michael. 7 spoke nipples. Pretty much prior to 2012, they had a version that is skinnier, and it's a smaller diameter, but it's only at the interface where the tool engages with the spoke nipple. The actual threading is identical. So the new M7 is used on wheels pretty much produced after 2012. Again, the difference is in the tool that you use and not the threading. And speaking of the threading, these are reverse threaded, so left-handed threads. So you have to turn them opposite when you're truing these compared to other spokes or other spoke nipples. Something else I wanted to touch on are any issues that you have with these. A lot of it has to do with the maintenance of these wheels, because the Cerium SLs and the Crossmax wheels stay trued for so long. Bike mechanics or home mechanics typically do not have to true these wheels, so they end up not touching these spoke nipples. So over time, and I can't nail down exactly what causes it, but over time, there are 4 things that I've run into when dealing with these nipples and these spokes on the Mavic Z-Curl wheels. And actually, it works the same. I have the same issues when you're dealing with the stainless steel spokes with the 4 or the M7 nipple. So number 1, nothing. Everything works perfectly fine. You're truing the wheel. You hold the spoke with the tool, and you turn the nipple, and everything's fine. The second thing is that the spoke and the nipple seize. So when you turn the nipple, the spoke turns too. The third thing that happens is that the actual nipple seizes within the rim. Mavic, this is what Mavic calls their FORE technology, F-O-R-E technology, where the rim is threaded. So that's the third thing that happens. The nipple seizes within the threads of the rim. And the fourth thing that happens is both the nipple seizes to the spoke and the nipple seizes to the rim. Now there are ways to get around it. I'm batting 1,000 on removing this nipple from a rim, but you can get hold of me if you have any questions about that. But what you typically want to do with the Mavic wheels that use Z-Curl spokes is what I do. Whenever I'm working on a client's bike, every time I have a bike with a wheel that uses these spokes, I go around and I hold the spoke and I turn the nipple, a quarter turn or so, eighth of a turn or so, back and forth, and I go around, all the way around the wheel, and I do that. And if it's problematic and I see it's getting tight, I will also put a drop of some type of penetrating lube, between the spoke and the nipple. But so I go around and do that for every spoke, and then I finish up by truing the wheel. I found that that limits the chances of them seizing, quite a bit. And I cannot tell you exactly why they seize. At first, I thought it was some type of corrosion. And I actually sent a sample of some spokes with seized nipples to a friend of mine who is works at a university. I'll just say that, and I got images of a scanning electron microscope of what was causing that specific spoke to seize, and what was determined, it was silica. So it was just road salt. It wasn't corrosion between the the spoke and the nipple, for that specific spoke. So you have to maintain these. Yeah, they will last a long time, but as with anything, you have to maintain them. Just like Mercedes cars that go a million miles, they maintain those cars. It's just not just ride them or drive them and forget about it. You have to maintain them. So any of the issues that I've seen with these have to do with not being maintained. Lastly, what I recommend when people replace these is that I coat the inside with a grease. Just coat the surface of the spoke with grease, and I put a drop of uh, Loctite medium strength on the threads, and I reinstall the spoke and true it, and that does prevent some of the seizing. Moving on, another spoke that Mavic uses exclusively in their Arsis and some of their Cerium SLR wheels is what's called the tray comp spoke, and this is a tubular carbon spoke with both of the ends bonded onto the shaft. Uh, this makes it unique, where you cannot, the nipple doesn't turn independently to the spoke, so there are steps that need to be taken whenever you work on a bike with these spokes. Specifically, there's a ring inside of the hub that presses against uh, this end of the spoke that prevents it from, or two things, going into the hub shell when you hit a bump or something, and also prevents the spoke from turning. So in order to true the wheel or turn the spoke without damaging the spoke, you have to remove that ring, and then you can true the wheel as per usual. But when you're done, you have to replace that ring in the hub. So what makes these unique is again the name tray comp. They have strength in traction and also in compression. You look at a typical stainless steel spoke or any other spoke, and in traction they have strength, but in compression they bend. So that's what makes these spokes very unique. Again, there's special care that has to be taken when you're dealing with these spokes, and you just have to just be careful. They are not fragile. Uh, the other spoke, which is really unique, is the R2r Spoke. You can see this is a long spoke. Uh, R2r stands for rim to rim. So you have a block in the center here that um, is captured or held in at the hub, and you have the each end of the spoke connecting to nipples in the rim. So this is again radically different. You have to know how to work on these things. They are incredibly strong, but at the same time they are incredibly difficult to get hold of. Mavic used these exclusively on their, I believe it's Cosmic SLR wheels for a couple years. So and it's my understanding they stopped producing these, but that causes a problem for people who have these. Fortunately, they last a long time, but whenever you do have an issue, it's going to be a problem. Trying to find one, track one down. You notice a red dot on here. That's because Mavic uses two lengths of these R2r spokes in their wheels. They have one length that fits. They have one length that fits on the non-drive side and the front wheel, and they have a spoke with a green dot, and that's specifically for the drive side. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope it helps, and I hope it cleared up some questions about Mavic spokes. I would appreciate if you subscribe and like this video. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments below. Peace.